let's get ready together while I answer some of your questions in regards to being a content creator, being a graphic designer, any makeup, and just makeup in general. I'm going to be trying some new products that I actually got during the Sephora sale, as well as some newer products that came before, some indie makeup, some non-indie makeup, as well as some staple products actually that I have that I've been enjoying for quite some time. And thank you so much to everyone who participated in asking me questions in my IG stories. Let's get right into it. I'm gonna be using the About Face Performer, and just gonna go like this. So the first kind of question was Beauty Room Tour. I don't remember. I feel like that's so like 2017, 2018. I don't know if that's something I would want to do now. I feel like I'm just like a little bit protective over my space. I also partially wouldn't want to do the tour because I have my work kind of section set up here. It's really just like my computer desk and whatnot, but I don't know, I just feel like that's like a different part now, and I don't think that people really do them anymore. And I think partially people don't really do them anymore because I think people were very judgmental from what they like saw in the beauty room tours. I don't know why I'm using the mirror that's all the way over there and not my handheld mirror, but this is definitely very light coverage, and I will have to set this for sure. I turned down the light a little bit. I felt like it was kind of blowing me out, so let me also try to sit back a little further back. So the next question is, what has been your favorite eyeshadow release of 2024 thus far from the indie brands? There's a lot. I don't know if I have like one favorite, but I guess it's just like a general favorite. There's honestly a lot. I really feel like, generally speaking, anything from Bella Beaute Bar, and also I think Unearthly Cosmetics has been absolutely killing it. And not that everything necessarily fully appeals to me, but I just think in general they're just doing really cohesive kind of collections. I'm going to be using the Milani Cheek Kiss Cream Bronzer, and this one was gifted to me, and this one is the shade Hey Honey 110. Pretty pigmented, so I'm going to be going in very light-handed. This is a Spectrum Bio 5 brush. This is my favorite brush to apply contour, bronzer, you name it. So really, Bella Beaute Bar are definitely like top tier in terms of releases so far. I really love the Dead Roses palette from Bella Beaute Bar. I thought that was amazing. Also the Burnt Forest palette from Cryptine Cosmetics. It's a new indie brand, and it's just such a beautiful palette. Everything like just really great first launch that feels very finished, and I'm very excited to see what they do next. And then the other one that comes to mind is definitely Gloomy Gardens from Dieverune Cosmetics, which is created by my friend Monica M. Jones 5018. I love the color story and the theme of that one. I think in general, people who are creators that are coming out with brands, I've just seen like they're really hitting it out of the park with the themes. I feel like they're giving the indie space exactly like what they like and what they want. So that one is also near and dear to my heart because I did work on the packaging of that one. So I really just love how it came out, and it just really went with the theme and everything. So those are the ones that really come to mind. I just put on the Freck Mascara Lash Rocket on my bottom lashes since I have like a glue-on lashes from Ardell on, and this one was gifted to me. I'm extremely picky with mascaras, so chances are if it's not waterproof, I'll probably not use it. And if I will use it, I will use it for my lower lashes for when I'm filming. So it's kind of complicated. So onto my eyebrows. Multi-chrome brand you couldn't live without. I feel like we all know the answer to this question. Obviously, Clionadh Cosmetics. I think they have such a huge variety of multi-chromes. While this next brand doesn't necessarily have a lot of single eyeshadows, they do have really beautiful multi-chromes in their palettes, and that's Bella Beaute Bar. So definitely also another brand that I just feel like I get so excited when they launch something new, and I just know it's going to be nice and cohesive. And that's the NYX The Brow Glue in the shade Dark Brown. And next I'm going to be using the Benefit Micro Filling Pen in the shade Light Brown. Which, why would I be using a dark brown and then a light brown, but it's okay. I feel like the hair strokes, I kind of want them to be usually softer. But this one, I gotta focus. This one, you gotta make sure you're getting in there. And you just want to like really be light-handed with that. I feel like I'm slouching, so I keep coming out of the frame, which is forever slouching, really. So next I'm going to use a little bit of concealer. This is from Salt New York. I got the little wooden component, which I'm so excited that they finally are coming out with something to put their products in, because right now I have them all kind of individually in some other random compacts. The only con of this is this had a mirror here that was just really lightly glued in here and it immediately fell out. And like, honestly, I'm not gonna like turn this around and like use the back of it. So just a little thing, but I'll put the shade up on the screen. But I can just use this on my face, but this creases on me pretty badly under my eyes. But it is very beautiful. It's not very, very, very pigmented. Like, it just looks very natural, which is the purpose of this product. So it's not going to fully cover this little dot, but that's fine. So I just kind of like to tap it on, essentially. Now that my mascara has dried down, I'm going to use the Lancome All Cover Concealer. This is one of my favorite concealers. And what is the shade that I have? Ooh, Evo W. I don't know. Ivory Warm something, maybe. And I like to usually blend it out with a brush, sometimes with my finger. I'm going to be using the Singe Beauty F02 because it is perfect for this. So the next question is, it's really actually a request, and that is, we need a battle of all the glitter eye primers. See, I've thought about this, to do this. One, it would, logistically speaking, it would take an extremely long time because I have a lot that I wouldn't want to try out. But the problem is there's no way to have like a controlled group with that, because honestly it varies a lot. I don't really have any like tried and true eyeshadow primers that I'm like, this will work no matter what and every day. Like, there's some that just sometimes they crease on me, sometimes they don't. I have come to find recently though that anything that's got like, especially the glitter kind of primers that are a little bit on the thicker side, they're a little bit milkier, those tend to really crease on me actually lately. So I have to be extremely careful on how much I put on. And I just wonder if that has to do something with like them really like mixing in with some of the kind of more emollient formulas, because it's kind of like you got like a emollient formula and then another formula and you're kind of putting it together. But I need to test that out a little bit more. But yeah, in general, I've been really liking kind of thinner types of eyeshadow glitter primers. And I'm just setting with the Pat McGrath. This is completely rubbed off. Also, I have a really nice size pen in here. This is my favorite under eye setting powder. And I like to use, this is just from Amazon. It's just a little puffy thing. So then moving on to the next one. Can you talk about your camera setup for eye looks? I'm terrible at capturing my looks. So, and there was another question later on about what camera I use. So right now I'm filming with the Canon 90D, and I have a 50mm on right now just so that you could see my whole face. But I usually do film with the 100mm macro lens for when I do eye looks, which basically I'll be sitting in the same spot, but you'll see really only like this much, and maybe even just even closer in. And then for my intros and outros, I use the 24mm because that one you can see kind of more of my background. So I'm going to be setting with the Essence Mattifying Compact Powder. Generally speaking, I really just like the Essence setting powders, and I really don't like loose setting powders. I just think they're such a pain to use for me. I don't know. I just think they're messy. I just don't prefer it. I'm using, yes, this is the Chatty Beauty. Listen, it covers a really big area, okay? And it's still hanging on there. I really, really like it. But in terms of setup, it's something that's very personal. I do use my camera on manual mode just to make sure I'm getting everything as color accurate as possible. When you're just first starting out, definitely use your camera on Intelligent Auto. It does a pretty good job. You might experience some issues of like when you hold something up, it's gonna do the weird light thing, but that's because it's Intelligent Auto and needs to adjust. I do think lighting is very, very important besides the camera, because you gotta make sure you're kind of hitting all sides of your face essentially. So I have a big panel light in front of me, and then I have these two panel lights kind of sitting. They're actually attached. They're on like one of those cloth things that are attached on the desk, and they're hitting me here. And then of course gotta light up that background because I just think it looks like nice and airy. And from the beginning, just a personal thing, I've really been very adamant about having great quality. I think it's because I'm a graphic designer, so things like that just really like are engraved in me, and it's just like I just can't allow myself to put something not quality enough to my expectation. So next I'm going to be putting on, this is a highlighter blush. I think everyone's been saying that is literally a highlighter. I got the shade Joy. This is the powder blush from Rare Beauty. I mean, look at this. I feel like it looks a little less orangey in person, but I think that might be because of the way that it's looking kind of baked in here. So I'm just going to be using, this is a Refer 04 brush. It is angled, so kind of wanted to actually grab a different one. Let me just see. Okay, I'm very curious to see how this works out, but it seems pretty powdery, so we'll see. I'm gonna go in with a light hand first. Ooh, that's definitely very pretty, but I really wanted something a bit more peachy. So like I don't know if I'm like loving this color. Also feel like it kind of took off some of my foundation on this cheek. So I'm just going to be kind of tapping it in. I mean, it's very nice. I do feel like I'm still a little bit blown out. It's very pigmented, so definitely a lighter hand if you're closer to my complexion. This question, and it's from Michaela. Hey, Michaela. It is, if you had a dream collab coming out this year, what brand and what products? There's definitely quite a few different indie brands that I would love to collab with. For sure, Blend Bunny, love the mattes. I feel like I would love to do like a curated color story, maybe some really fun futuristic kind of theme. I really like their Makina palette. I feel like that would be super fun, or if it could be a couple of different, maybe smaller palettes. Something like that, kind of what I'm imagining. And then another brand is definitely Bella Beaute Bar. I just love their formula, love their shimmers, love their hollow multi-chromes, and just overall such great quality products. So I would love to do an eyeshadow palette with them, with some lip products. Another brand for sure would be Clionadh Cosmetics, because they do have some of the most beautiful multi-chrome eyeshadows and some really beautiful different formulas. And also I'm still holding out on a glowy blush in the same satin formula from their Dragon Fruit collection palette. I mean, those are so beautiful. I know that they're hinting at coming out with highlighters, so I'm really hoping that there's some blushy highlighters in there, because I just think that that formula would be amazing on the cheeks. So that would be super fun to just curate orangey glowy cheeks, just kind of basically what I wanted the Rare Beauty to be like. And then another brand would be Lethal Cosmetics. Love their mattes, and their shimmers have seriously stepped it up so much. I mean, it's been at least a couple years now that they've stepped up their shimmers. I feel like I'm talking and not doing anything. So I have these 3 Makeout Club lipsticks from Freck Beauty that they sent over. I have the shade Legend, Shy Hottie, and The Moment. Based on the look I'm going for, I think I'm going to go in with The Moment. So yeah, back to Lethal Cosmetics. I also feel like they really... I thought this was going to be pink. Okay, never mind. Okay, I guess I'm going to use this one. Yeah, this one's pink. This is The Moment. I think this is going to really match my eye look. This is such an interesting formula. It feels like if you put the Kaleidos lip clays into a stick form. It's very interesting. I feel like it's extra glidey because I had lip balm on. Okay, that's good enough. Finally, moving on to the eyes. So I feel like Lethal Cosmetics, just in general, they really have such an amazing kind of vibe to the brand. I think it's very thought out. It's very professional looking. And I feel like, you know, usually indie brands, they're a little bit less finished in that sense. And not saying that they're all really crappy, but I'm just saying like they do really stand out. And I think that their mattes have been very consistent, and they consistently have really nice packaging. So it's just something that really speaks to me. So I feel like that would be a really fun collab. Just probably eyeshadow palettes. Obviously, I'm very heavily into eyeshadow, so really eyeshadow palette of any kind would be an amazing collaboration. But they do have quite a few different kinds of products as well. I love their kind of, I think it's lip gloss, lip oils. Those are so nice. I've been waiting for them to come out with more shades. I just primed with the P. Louise primer. And for the eyeshadow, I'm going to be going in with the Denisa Myrix. What is it called again? Blooming Romance Groundwork palette. I have used it only once so far, and I definitely have very interesting kind of feelings on it. And then speaking of Lethal Cosmetics, I'm going to be using one of their single eyeshadows from a previous collection. They are just coming out with a new palette, which I'm going to be definitely featuring on my channel, so stay tuned for that. But I think I'm kind of feeling, with this look, I think I'm going to go in with this shade and then maybe one of the iridescents. But look at how shiny! Oh my goodness. The Center Cross shimmers feel for sure a little bit more emollient, and I have had some creasing issues with those, unfortunately. But these 4 iridescents do feel like they're typical iridescent formula, where they are a little bit on the drier side. Moving on to another question, what's your go-to typeface? I have so many. I think my favorite by far is for sure Gotham. I think there's Gotham Rounded, there's Condensed, like it has so many options, and I think that's why I just really gravitate towards that one. Other one for sure has got to be Gilroy. It's very roundy, and I really, really love that one. So I'm going to be dipping into this shade right here, which is one of the cream shades. I find so far that you really have to kind of dig in there almost and get like the top layer off. I don't know if that's like a thing or not, but when I first used it this past week, I was like, I don't know how I feel about this. The question is, how many days of the week do you wear makeup? I do wear makeup for sure 3 times a week because that's when I go into the office, and I do predominantly just do like a pretty simple eye look, and then I usually don't really wear foundation too much because I just find that it's really hard for it to wear well. Okay, I feel like this one definitely seems like it's picking up a lot easier than the other shade I was using a couple days ago, so that's good. Very, very blendy. I haven't tried the mattes yet. I've only tried the cream formula in here. And then otherwise, I don't really wear makeup on the days I'm working from home, so Tuesday and Friday, but I do wear makeup on the weekend, especially if I'm filming or if I'm going somewhere later in the evening. So I would probably say on average, I probably wear makeup 4 minimum times a week, and then maximum probably 6 days a week. So the next question is advice for new makeup content creators on IG and YouTube. I feel like I could do a whole video on this going in with this shade because I feel like I have a lot of thoughts on that, but I don't know. It really depends on which part of the content creation you mean, because I think in terms of like beginning or starting out, I think you just gotta go for it. There's never going to be a perfect time, and I actually would say the sooner the better you start, because especially already at this point, it's just so oversaturated in the beauty space. So it really also depends on what you're trying to accomplish, because I think if you're trying to accomplish making this your full-time job, I think that's different than like, I'm just trying to like post things and have fun and kind of see where it takes me. Like, you know, those are 2 different kinds of avenues here to go. And I feel like I've seen a lot of just amping up of quality. And of course, you could still film with your phone, and that's totally fine. I would say if you're starting out, absolutely do not buy a camera until you've like really, really done it quite a few times and you know this is, you know, I want to invest into something else, something better and higher quality. But otherwise, I think in terms of content, you really need to kind of figure out what it is that you have to offer, what kind of aesthetic you want to portray, especially on YouTube, what kind of niche you want to get into, because you have, you know, the review channel, you have the panning section, you have the indie makeup section, and you have, even within that further down, you would have the single eyeshadow section, and then there's the drugstore section if you want to get into just featuring drugstore makeup, high-end luxury. There's all like, there's those overarching ones, and then there's like ones that whittle down a little bit further down into it, or if you want to do lifestyle kind of content with beauty, which I don't really feel like that's as common. I do think in general a lot of people have kind of added a little bit more to just beauty content. I'm definitely very curious to see what's gonna kind of happen with YouTube, because I have for sure noticed like it's just been different on YouTube than it has been in the past few years, and I think part of it is because it is so oversaturated. So you just gotta just do you, kind of whatever you want to do. Of course, you have to create content that you want to create, and you don't want to be like forced to create any sort of other content. So I hope that was at least a little bit helpful. The next question is, what is your recommendation for a good foundation for dry skin? I don't have dry skin, so I'm not sure, but I would definitely say really any foundation that is probably geared towards dry skin, I think would be good. And then an organization question, how do you organize your makeup? So I have my Alex drawers on the side of me here. They're just the ones with the 5 drawers, and I kind of have it separated by category. So I have all my eyeshadow primers, my mascaras, and my primers. In the very top drawer below that I have foundations. Below that I have all my cream face products, so anything from blushes to contour, bronzer to cream highlighters, and then below that I have my powder single kind of compact highlighters, blushes, etc., you name it. And then on this side, I have a lot of like single stuff in here, so like anything kind of liquid. And then I have my kind of go-to eyeshadow palettes here, and then the rest of my eyeshadow palettes in like a bookcase from IKEA over there. And then on the bottom two drawers, I have all my single eyeshadows in empty palettes. And then behind me, this thing actually that you see behind me usually when I'm further out, I have all my lip products in one of them. And then in the center one, I have some empty palettes, some extras, and as well as like all my like kind of accessories for when I do my reels. So I have everything organized by product type, and some of my drawers are definitely overflowing. I already feel like I need to go and do another declutter, especially when it comes to mascara. So I'm going to add some shimmer. I'm going to use the Devinah Cosmetics Spackle and Shimmer Glue Base. And I'm just going to do one eye at a time. And I'm just going to lightly put it on, tap it on. And I like to kind of tap on it again with my finger just to make sure there's not too much on it and it's really at its like most tackiest without like fully dried down. And then I'm going to take another brush. Actually, this is the Refer 28, and let's see, I'm going to go in with this center bottom shade. I'm going to put it up on the screen. Such a beautiful peachy shimmer shade. And while I put that on, let me read a question. What software apps are your favorite to use as a graphic designer and as a content creator? So as a graphic designer, I do use the Adobe suite. So I predominantly use Adobe Illustrator, InDesign, and then Photoshop is really only for if I have to make any photo edits, etc. But predominantly, really, I work in Illustrator. And then in terms of as a content creator, I do use Illustrator, and I also use Photoshop. And then to edit my videos, I use what is it called? Final Cut Pro, actually. I used to use Premiere Pro. I didn't really like it, so I ended up switching, and it's been the best decision ever. And then the last two are Clean Girl or Nah. I think it's, if that's something that appeals to people, like I don't, you know, you can obviously do whatever you want with your makeup, so not really for me. I mean, look at my eyeshadow. Not really for me, but I do feel like I appreciate it in terms of when it comes to like skin prep and stuff like that. Like that's when I do kind of, I feel like if anything, I gravitate towards that a little bit more than especially like 2017 makeup, you know? So I'm just taking the shade again. Actually, I wanted to put one of the iridescents on the inner corner, so it's not going to be tacky anymore, but it should still be fine. And then the last one is favorites right now. I feel like I really have a lot of older favorites, but I think one of my new favorites, actually, I literally just got it yesterday, but I used it, and within an hour, I was like, yeah, I love this. And that is the new Bella Beaute Bar Lip Oils. Oh, I need to buy some of the other shades because absolutely really great formula. Do I dare say I prefer to the Blend Money lip oils. And then in terms of face products, I really, really love these Salt New York blushes, the cream blushes so much. Like they're seriously a staple. I have to make myself like use a different one. And then also I love their contour shade. It's perfect. I've been through, I want to say 2 now, and I have another backup of the one that I'm using right now. Love that one. So in general, love that one. Concealer wise, what's my favorite right now? I love this concealer I just used. I also really love the Dior concealer, but I think they reformulated, and this is the previous version. And then obviously this powder, I mean, you already saw. I got a really nice hefty pan in there. So those are kind of my favorites right now, especially in terms of like face products. On the inner corner, I'm going to go in with this shade. It's got like a little bit of oranginess to it, so I'm not really sure if it's actually going to be that much. No, it looks a little bit purple actually. That's interesting. Don't you love multi-chromes? They always surprise you. It actually looks really nice there. I'm just gonna pop that in here. Eyeshadow wise, definitely the Flying Fiddles palette from Adept Cosmetics so far this year. Really enjoying that one. And then also the Space Chemistry eyeshadow palette from Terra. The shimmers in there, just so shiny, sparkly, and beautiful. But anyways, here's the finished look. Let me know in the comments below what you think. So I hope you enjoyed this chatty get ready with me. I haven't done one in such a long time, so I'm a little rusty. Let me know if you would like to see some more and what kind of things do you like to see with chatty get ready with me. So I would love to know. I'm just going to quickly talk about some of the newer products in here that I used today. The Rare Beauty blush. I feel like I need to try it a couple more times to definitely get a better feel for it. I feel like for sure I want to make sure I'm fully setting my cheeks, which I thought I did, but maybe not on this side because it did catch a little bit. So I feel like the shade is not what I was imagining, so I'm a little bit disappointed in the shade, but I think the formula is really nice and I love me a glowy blush like this. I don't think it's a highlighter. I definitely feel like it's a glowy blush. And then the Milani bronzer, really, really nice, very, very pigmented. I do like this shade. I have to go with a very, very light hand, which I don't want at all, but I do really like it. It blends so, so nicely, so easily. And then the About Face, I've only worn this one other time, so I will have to keep you updated, but I think it wears decently. It's more natural coverage, but I do really love this shade match. Really, chef's kiss, great shade match. And then the Danessa Myrix, I feel like I had a better time with it this time when I was doing this eye look. So I feel like for sure I have to like really dip into all of these. I still have yet to try the smaller pans, which are just a true matte formula, and I haven't used these on my cheeks, and I honestly probably won't. I really prefer to use like true creams on my cheeks, but I'm gonna do it just to try it. But I do really love all the tones in here. It's definitely like on the pinky, almost a little bit mauve-y side, and I feel like it's perfect for spring and summer for sure. And I think this is a great companion palette, especially if you have a lot of shimmer shadows and you just want like an all matte palette and you really love all of these tones. And then the Lethal shimmers, these ones right here are definitely a bit more shiny. They're a little bit emollient, like I mentioned, so definitely would recommend some sort of glitter primer or something, and make sure you're not using a lot of it. And I do believe a couple of these are hollows. I think these two shades are hollows. Let me know if you'd like to see a video on these. I didn't get a chance to do it, but I do want to, and I want to do comparisons, but comparisons take such a long time that it was just like I can't do multiple comparison videos in a week. And then the iridescent shimmers are super, super nice. They're not like sparkly necessarily. They're a little bit on like the drier but still shiny side. So those are just some of my thoughts quickly on some of these products. Thank you so much for joining me today for this Get Ready With Me. And if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. And thank you so much for watching. I hope to see you next time.